Can you guys see my screen? Please confirm if you can see my screen. Okay, so as I said, the Python download link has been sent to the resources channel on Slack. So once you click on the link, you should start downloading the Python software immediately. So I can just cancel this one because I already downloaded it just now. So once you click on the installer, it should show you a pop-up to complete the installation. So before clicking on install, make sure you check use admin privilege when installing Python. I think this should be checked by default, and then check add to parts. This one is very important. You have to check add python.exe to parts. If not, you start getting some issues. So if you have any issue or if you already installed Python without checking add to parts, make sure you can either uninstall it and reinstall it and check the add to parts, or you can just post whatever error you are getting to the help general channel on Slack. So once you check add to parts, you can just click on install now and wait for that to install. So while that is installing, as I said, we need to install some extensions in VS Code. If you can't see this sidebar right here, you should make sure this the first toggle is on, which is toggle primary sidebar. So it could be like this or like this. And if you are seeing a different there might be a welcome tab for you here. You can just continue without you can leave it or close it. So what we need here is to install some extensions. So you go to this extension tab, which is the one, two, three, four, five, the fifth. Sorry, let me zoom in here. Yeah, so which is the fifth item here. So once you get here, just type py. So we need to install some extensions for Python support for VS Code. So make sure you confirm the publisher name, which is Microsoft. So we are installing three extensions. We're installing PyLint. So it might not be in the same order for you, but make sure it has this blue check mark and Microsoft, so you don't install the wrong extension. So you should get an install button here. So you just click on install and enable. So the next thing is Python. You should also click on install for that one. I already have the extension installed. And the third extension we'll be installing is Playlist. So once you have the extension installed, it might take a while for it to install. So you can go back to the first menu, which is the tab or the Explorer. Sorry, the Explorer. You can close this. So if I go back to my Python, it's still installing. So while that is installing, to create a new to begin working in VS Code, you need to create a folder where you want your work to be. So to do that, you need to click on this file menu up here and click on select folder or open folder. And from here, you can select any folder you want to save your file. Okay. Sorry. Okay, Emmanuel, do you have anything to say? I didn't hear you. No, pylons and come, let me show you this. So can you see me? Can you see it now? Can you see it clearly now? Okay, so this one is pylons. There's pylint, Python, and pylons. Okay, thank you. So as I was saying, to start working, you need to select the folder which you want your file to. Let me redo this. So you select the folder by clicking on open folder. So you could save your file anywhere. I like to save mine under documents and create a new folder under documents. So I have a folder called Bakrie where I want to save my file. So after clicking on the folder, I can just click on select folder. This depends on the version of Windows you are using, but I'll assume everyone is using Windows. So after that, you need to click on this new file icon here, and you can give this any, you can name this anything you want. This is going to be your file. This is where all your code will be written in. So for this, I can name this hello.py. So now I just created a Python file. As you can see, we have uh, the Python icon. If we create a different file now, let's say hello.txt, you can see this has a different icon from this. These icons are indicates the file type. So this is showing you it's a Python file. If you're not seeing that icon, then there must be an error in your naming. So this is hello dot and py, no space. So I can just delete this one. So I think the Python installation should be done now. Okay, so still installing. So let's just make sure the installation is done before we continue. Okay, now it's just setup has been successful. You can just close this. Now, anytime there's a Python file open, you will see a plus, sorry, a run icon here. So this is how you run your Python file. So before that, in case you have multiple versions of Python on your PC, because you can have like more than one version of Python on your PC. So to change the current version you're using, you need to select, you see the version of Python you're using here. This is 3.10.9, which is not the version I just installed. So you need to click on that and select the correct version, which is this 3.14.2. This is the version I just installed. You can see from um you can check the file installer that you downloaded. You can see this is 3.14.2. So now we have Python. So we have successfully installed the Python. Now when you test the installation, you can just open this the second toggle at the top, which is the terminal. Okay, so sorry. Okay, so as I was saying, my network was disconnected. So to test the Python installation, you just you open your terminal using this the second toggle at the top, and you type Python two hyphens and version. So if you get a response similar to this, then that means Python was installed on your system. But if you get something else, let's say if you get something like Python is not recognized, misspelled this on purpose so you can see what the error looks like. If you guess Python is not recognized, then that means you probably didn't check the add Python to parts, or you're having some other issues. Whatever the case is, you should just post the error on Slack under the help general channel. So sorry, can everyone hear me? I forgot to ask. Please let me know if you can hear me. And you can see my screen as well, abi? Okay, thank you. So I can just close this now and start. So to write our first program, I'll explain everything I'm doing in a second now. This is just a test. So after writing your program to test it, you just need to click on this run Python file icon right here. And as you can see, it reopens the terminal and prints the whatever we have here. So this is a simple Python statement. I need to click close in this thing so I can have more screen size. So this is a basic Python file. This print statement is used to output stuff in the terminal. Most of your Python programs will run either on the terminal or on the web. So this is a simple terminal application. So to show anything in this terminal, we use the print statement. And this print takes a single, it takes whatever you want to print goes within this open and close bracket. So for instance, I could print, if I want to print 100, I just need to 100 between the open and the close bracket. So that prints 100. So if you notice the difference between the 100 and the LOI print, there is no for the LO there is a double quote at the beginning and the end of the text. This is called string in programming. So string is basically a collection of characters. You can have anything here. You can have someone's name. You can add numbers to it, but everything will be treated as just characters. So this is also a string, regardless of whether it has letters or numbers. So when I print this as well, I should get 100. But the difference between this 100 and the previous 100 I printed is that this, oh God. So as I was saying, the difference between this 100 and the previous 100 I printed is the double quote around this one. So this is called string and the previous one without the quote, this is an integer. So there are different data types in Python. The type of data type to use depend on what you're trying to store. So if you're trying to store things like age, which are numbers, you if you're trying to store things like age, say 19, 20, these are numbers and it's called int in Python. If you're trying to store things like, let's say, full name, this is a string in Python. The other data types that we are going to get to. So before that, to start um, to start coding in Python, we need to first understand the concept of variables. So basically, variables are like a container used to store data in a piece of memory, in a memory space. It's like a temporary storage in your code. So you can, let's say, you need to store some data that you need to reference. Can everyone hear me? Okay, yeah. So it's used to store piece of information that you want to reference in within the same code. So to declare a variable in Python, let's use the age example. So let's say you create age as 19. So this code simply stores the value 19 into like a location labeled as age. So anywhere in your program where you type age, it's going to be represented with 19. So for my previous example where I was printing 100, now if I print age and run the program, I got 19. So the 19 here is an integer variable. The kind of variable also determine the kind of operations you can perform on the variable. For instance, you could do things like age We say new age equal to previous age plus 2. So now when you print new age, you're basically adding, you're basically setting new age to the previous age plus 2. So now we got 21. Sorry, let me see if I can disable my um the auto suggest. Okay, I think that should stop that for now. So variables also support redeclaration. For instance, if I do age equals to 20 here and then I print age, it automatically disregard the first age that I set here and print the 20. So that is an integer variable. We also have other type a data type. That's an integer data type saved in the age variable. We have other type of data type. We have the string, which is an example is the hello I used earlier. So I could say full name equal to Emi Eche. When I put full name and I click the play button, I should get the full name. If you notice here, I didn't add um, the same quote I added for this for the string when I was putting hello. So if I add the quote here, it's going to treat this as a string and not a variable. I don't know if you guys understand the difference between the variable and string. Basically, they are both the same collection of characters, but once you start it with a quote at the beginning and at the end, that makes it a string and it is printed as it is. So once you click play here, you get full name and not Opeyemi Eche. Once you remove the quote at the beginning and the one at the end, it looks for this variable. Right? If you over onto if once you have installed this the pilot, once you over on anything, it tells you the kind of data type it is. So if I over on the full name, you can see this is a variable. And if you over on the okay, this does not show you the data type, but just know this is a string. Another example of data type we have is float, which is anything with a decimal point. So the age we had the previous time is a whole number. Int spelled out int is only for variables without decimal point. If you have decimal point, let's say 7.5, this is no longer an integer. It's called float in Python, which is, as you can see, it's a variable with the data type is float, which is anything with decimal points. So the same goes, you can also print that and you see the value. You can also perform similar operations you perform with integer. So let's say the price times, you can say new price equal to price times 2. We are going to talk about these operations soon. So now when I print new price, I should get 15, which is the value for 7 times 2. And if you notice another thing, while naming my variables, I usually for variables that require multiple words, you don't add space, you don't do new price. As you can see, it automatically gives you an error with this with the red underline. So if you have multiple words for your if you need multiple words for your variable, you use underscore, not hyphen, underscore. So let's say you need more than 2 words, new price for bag. So this is what it's going to look like. You don't use spaces for variable names. So besides, I think we've listed just three data types now. We've listed the integer, the float, and the string. We also have the Boolean data type. This is used to save true or false values. So for instance, let's say running, running, you can set this to true. So if you hover on top of it, it's not telling you the data type, but just know there's also a data type called Boolean. There's also a data type called Boolean. It only takes true or false, and the first letter is in the first letter is in uppercase. So that makes four variables. So another thing to note is Python is case sensitive. This false is different from this false here. You can see this gives you false is not defined, meaning there's no variable at the top named false. So if you want to set running to a Boolean value, which is either true or false, the first character has to be in the first F has to be in uppercase, which is false. You can see the line disappeared. So the same thing goes. You can also print running. All these variable types currently store only one data. As you can see, full name only stores a single string. In some cases, you might want to store more than one data. For instance, you are building a movie website where you want to store a list of several movies. So for that kind of data type, we use something called a list. So you can have something like list movies. And instead of beginning this one with a double quote, you start with open bracket, a square bracket. So you write, you can start entering your movie names here. Let's say, and so on. So this is a single variable, is a single string. This is also a single string. But we are adding the two into a single variable called list of movies. So you can also add integers to this. You can say one, two, you can add floats, any type of data. You can also add boolean. So this is a single object, a single variable containing a list of multiple variables instead of just having a variable name and then the value. So this will also be useful. So yeah, when I print list of names, sorry, list of movies, and I click on the run icon, as you can see, it printed every single thing in this list. We also have other types of data type, but for now, we are going to stick with this. So if you notice the opposite of this print statement, this print is a statement. As I said, it starts with the bracket at the beginning and at the end. This is to print stuff on a terminal. There are some cases where you will want to receive stuff instead from the user. You want user to type in something. Let's say you want user to type in their first name. You start it just as you start this, which is open and close. And just ignore this my autocomplete. Let me disable it. So the same thing, remember, you can't just start typing, enter your name. This is not valid because strings always have to start with the double quotes and end with double quotes. So if you try to run this now, I think I should show you what an error looks like. So if you run this, your code will show an error. So as you can see, it says, so to read a Python error, the first, it's going to tell you the line where the error came from and the type of error it is. So as you can see, it's telling me the file, which is hello.py, and this is the location I saved it in the Bakrie folder, hello.py. So I can tell the error is coming from this file, and it says line 9. So if you check the number by the side, you can see this is on line 9, and it says syntax error, invalid syntax. Perhaps you forgot a comma. So this is not really telling us what exactly is happening. I think I'm going to use a better example. So, but as you can see, it's telling us there is error here. Once you over here as well, you can see the same error. You can see VS Code giving you the same error before you actually run the program. So to fix this, we know strings always start with enter and end. Sorry, always start with a double quote and end with a double quote. So we need to add the two. Now when I run the program, it runs telling me enter your name. And you can see the program does not end immediately. It gives you a way to type. So I could actually type my name, and once I click enter the problem, and the program continues and ends. So if you notice after running the program, there is no space here. When I start typing, everything just joins together. To prevent that, I will just add a simple space here. I could also add a semicolon to make it prettier. So I need to make sure this one is done running. Then we run the application. So now as you can see, it's formatted properly, and there's a space after the enter. So now I can say Opeyemi. So this printing here is still the same print list of movies. So since the program is running from 82, it asks your name first, then it prints the list of movies. So let's say we want to use whatever the user entered here. Let's say we are building a program that greets the user after they enter their name. So we need to save whatever the user entered into a separate variable. So for that, we can do name equal to input, and then we print name. Instead of printing name, we could just print a greeting to the user. So to do that, we can do, sorry, do hello plus name. So this joins this hello string with a space with whatever the user enters there. During the when I was explaining the integer data type, we can also use this the operators on the integer data types, and it gives a different result. So 2 plus 2 gives 4. But a string hello plus whatever the name is gives hello and that name, since I mean logically that's how it's supposed to be. So when we run this, we get the same prompt asking to enter your name. And once you click and once you type where it says hello or where, and the program exits. So this prevents the program from just closing itself. So if you replace this input with say print instead, you would see, okay, sorry, let's remove this. And we can't concatenate. I will explain that later, but let's just print and see the program just exists. The program just closed immediately. So This enter your name does not wait for input. That's the difference between print and input. So input is basically just like this, opposite of input is the opposite of print. So I can just control Z back to what we had, which is this. So before we proceed, I would like to create a basic application so that we can use everything we've learned in something that looks like a real world application. So I have a to-do application here that I would like to create like the functionalities. So this is what we're going to be creating at the end of the first chapter. So basically this is just a basic to-do list. It's not really basic, but it has most of the functions that you need for a to-do list. So it has a user authentication and a list of tasks. So I could go here, let's say, um, okay, so this is simply a to-do list. So this is a to-do list. I could add a task, let's say, task, and I can check a task to finish it. So it goes into this completed tab here. Where you can see this tab has been completed, and you can uncheck a tab to re-add it back to the pending task. You can create a new list. So I've created two different lists here. This is front end and this is back end. You can create yours. And so that is basically what you need in a to-do list application. So to begin doing that, let's first clear our workspace, our code. So we have a fresh thing to work with. I would also like to close this terminal. So you can just do that to close your terminals.